Hello everyone, it's me, Kubac from LBP Union, back with yet another video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can set up RPCS3 and then configure any LittleBigPlanet games you have on RPCS3 to be able to play on Beacon, which is a custom server for any mainline LittleBigPlanet game. That means either 1, 2 or 3. We're going to go through step by step, starting off with the first one, which is setting up RPCS3 and then installing official firmware into it, then setting up your RPCN account, then make all the necessary changes required for the custom config of each LittleBigPlanet game that you wish to use to play on Beacon. Then the next step is going to revolve around downloading Refresher, which is a tool that is going to be required for us in order to patch any LittleBigPlanet game that we wish to use to connect to Beacon. And then after patching the game, I'll also show you how to configure any controller to work with RPCS3. And then once you get into the game, I'll be showing two methods of registering your Beacon account. One which is by registering manually using the Beacon website. If you haven't played the game on Beacon previously using different platforms such as PS3 or PS Vita. And then the second method is when you have already connected to Beacon using a different platform such as PS3. I will cover these both methods in this video. And then I will also cover how joining works using the new lobby password system, as well as show you how you can easily change the lobby password should you wish to change it. This is pretty much all the steps that we're going to cover in this video tutorial, and without further ado, let's get on with the first step. So first things first, we are obviously going to need to have an emulator itself, which is RPCS3, the very PS3 emulator that we're going to cover in this video. So in order to get RPCS3, all we really need to do is to visit rpcs3.net, which is a website where we can get the emulator, and then we accept the message saying that no piracy is allowed. And then once you reach this website, you're going to hover over download and then click. And then depending on which operating system you're using, you will have to choose between Windows, Linux and macOS. Since we are on Windows, we're obviously going to use the download link for a Windows version of RPCS3. Once we click on that, we will go ahead and click save. Once that is done downloading, we can open up the download folder of where the rpcs3.zip file right here has been downloaded. Now we need to choose any destination as long as it's not a temporary one, such as any of the OneDrive folder or any of the temporary directories where these files could be removed easily. In this case, I'm going to be using this one folder that I've prepared specifically for this tutorial right here. In here, I'm going to create a new folder called RPCS3, and then I'm going to enter this folder right here. And then by using 7-zip, I'm just going to drag and drop this file with a right click, move it to RPCS3 folder, and then by choosing the option 7-zip, I'm going to choose the option extract here. And as you can see, the .7z archive has successfully been extracted and we have the content of the emulator right here. We can now close out of the downloads folder, and now we have RPCS3 right here. So if we click this .exe file or this file that has the RPCS3 icon, if we double click it, then this window is going to pop up. We want to make sure that we uncheck the show at start option and then check the option I have read the quick start guide, and then we press continue. And here is RPCS3 open. Now as you can see at the bottom here, it says that it's missing firmware. That means we're going to need to download the official firmware for PlayStation 3, and we can do so by visiting a Sony website. I'm going to put the link for the PlayStation website for downloading the firmware update down in the video description. And in this website, all you need to do is to scroll down till you find the section how to update PS3 system software, and you want to expand this option update using a computer, and then right here you need to right click this option, download PS3 update, and then copy the clean link, and then open a new tab and then paste that link right here, and then we save this file anywhere we want. In some cases it will say that this download is insecure and it has automatically blocked it. We want to make sure we keep it. The only reason why this happens is because we are downloading it using a plain HTTP, so that's why most of the browsers will most likely warn you that this download is potentially insecure, but it is perfectly safe. You don't need to worry about anything. Now, since we have this PS3 update.pub file, this is our firmware file that we need to install on RPCS3. All we need to do now is to drag and drop this file into RPCS window right here. And then we want to confirm in this window that we want to install that firmware. It's a successfully installed PS3 firmware and LED modules. And as you can see, a new window popped up saying that it is now compiling PPO modules. You want to make sure that this will go through and it completes. And now once that is done, we can move on to the next step, which is configuring your RPCN account. If you don't have an RPCN account already, you can create one by going into configuration, then RPCN, then go into your account, and then in here you want to make sure that you want to choose the option create account, and then we'll specify the username that you want to use for our account. Now, one thing that you need to be aware when it comes to creating your RPCN account and specifying the username is that whenever you want to merge your PlayStation Network account with RPCN username and Beacon, then you must make sure that the RPCN username matches the username that you have on your PlayStation Network account. That is going to be very important whenever you're going to be using a method of registering your RPCN account into Beacon when you already have connected to Beacon before, for example, by using a PlayStation 3. I'm just going to specify one right here. And then we're going to specify our password. And then RPCN says that an email address is required. So for this, we're going to need to enter our email. So I'm just going to insert my email. Now here it displays the information that we set in the previous windows, username, and the email address that we specified. Is this correct? We go ahead and click yes. And now RPCS3 is going to ask for the token that it has sent over to the email address that you specified. So now we're going to head over to our mail account. And now we have this RPCN mail right here. Your token for RPCN, and then what we need to do now is to copy this token and then paste it into RPCN window right here, and then we click OK. And once that is done, we can now click test account to see if the account is valid. As you can see, RPCS3 confirms that our account is valid, so we can now click OK and then close this window right here, and there we have it. That is how you configure your RPCN account on RPCS3. Now the next step is to configure any LittleBigPlanet game on RPCS3 so it can connect to a custom server. As you can see right now, we don't have any game added, and in order to actually have any LittleBigPlanet game added to RPCS3, first we will need to dump the game. I have a video tutorial provided in this LBP Union YouTube channel as well. So if you want to know how to dump your own game so you can play it on RPCS3. Aside from that, I'm just going to add to these games that I have dumped personally. So I'm just going to go into the games, and then I'm going to choose LBP2 and then LBP3 as both sample games. Now, the very first thing you would see is, as you can see, both of these games are not updated. You need to also make sure that these games are up to date. For this, we're going to visit yet another link that is a rusty-psn. Once again, I'll put any link that shows up in the video down in the video description. And then we have the rusty-psn right here. This is the utility that allows us to download any game updates directly from the Sony servers. And we want to head over to releases. Now, once again, depending on which operating system you're using, you want to choose the one that you have. In my case, since we are using Windows, I'm going to choose rusty-psn EGUI Windows. You're going to want to choose the EGUI one, so we click that. Download it anywhere you want, and once that is done downloading, we're going to once again open the folder containing this downloaded file, and then using the 7-zip, I'm just once again going to drag with a right click, drop it here, use the option 7-zip, and then extract to rusty-psn EGUI Windows. As you can see, we have this folder right here, and then we have the rusty-psn executable. We run this, and as you can see, this new window shows up, and now we have the text field to insert the title serial. This is the serial that shows up in RPCS3. If you look here in the game listing, you have to update every LittleBigPlanet game separately. So first we're going to update LittleBigPlanet 2. It has a serial of BCES 00850. We can right click the game right here and then choose the option copy info and then copy serial. And then we can paste this serial right here. And then we can now click the option search for updates. As you can see, it has successfully detected all the updates that it found for this particular game. In the case of LittleBigPlanet 2, you will notice that one particular version number, 1.19, does not show up. This is perfectly fine. This is because 1.20 actually merged with 1.19 when it comes to its contents. All we need to do now is to just download all. And as you can see, it starts downloading, and once these updates will be downloaded, as you can see, rusty-psn has automatically cleared a folder for us called PKGs, and then we have the folder containing all the updates. And then as you can see, we have all these PKG files right here. We obviously need to wait till rusty-psn finishes downloading all these updates before we move on to installing them. And now, if we just scroll down here and we see that all the patches have been downloaded successfully, now we can close out of rusty-psn, and now that I've already mentioned, the folder for all the downloaded PKG files for the updates are in the PKGs folder right here. And then we have the game of which we have the updates downloaded. Now then we double click on that folder. And now that we have all these updates, all we need to do is press Ctrl A to select all these patches, and then we can drag and drop them directly onto RPCS3. As you can see here, now it's showing up the window of the patch PKG installation. We want to make sure that all these updates are in the correct order. Now that we make sure that all these updates are sorted correctly, we go ahead and click install. As you can see, it has successfully installed all the updates. We can close out of this window. And then we're obviously going to do the same with LittleBigPlanet 3 or any LittleBigPlanet game that you don't have the latest version of it installed. So I'm just going to skip through this process and have this game up to date. And now we need to go into each LittleBigPlanet game in order to configure the right settings. I'm just going to show you the necessary ones. I'm not going to show you the full config. I have a video prepared for that and how you can configure every LittleBigPlanet game on RPCS3 to either have a best graphics or either have the best performance. Once again, a link for that video is going to be down in the video description. But for now, we're going to configure both of these games. So in every LittleBigPlanet game, we need to right click each LittleBigPlanet game that you want to play online on Beacon, then choose the option Create Custom Configuration from Global Settings. And then one important thing I will touch upon here is that you must have SPU exploit accuracy set to approximate. Setting it to any other option will break the physics of the game, so this is important to have this checked as default. The second most important thing is the network tab right here. And in here, you want to make sure that the network status is set to connected, and then the PSN status is set to RPCN. You want to also make sure that the DNS is set to 8.8.8.8. This is Google's DNS server, so we can leave that as a default. It will be perfectly fine and usable for this network configuration. You can also use 1.1.1.1, which is the Cloudflare DNS. Both of these will work just fine. You can also optionally choose the option Enable UPnP if your router supports it, which does benefit the LittleBigPlanet games when it comes to connecting to other people online, so it's best to have that feature checked in. But once again, if your router doesn't support it, it doesn't necessarily matter if you have it ticked or not. It will most likely not affect your game whatsoever. But once you set this network tab right here, you're going to go ahead and click Apply and Save Custom Configuration. And then also we're going to do the same thing with any other LittleBigPlanet game right here. So once again, create custom configuration, make sure that this is set to approximate export. Then in network, once again, network status to connected, PSN status to RPCN. We'll leave the DNS as full of 8s or full of 1s, whatever. And then if your router supports it, be sure to check Enable UPnP. Apply, save. So now, before we get into the game, we also need to download one more tool, which is a refresher. Refresher is a tool that allows us to patch LittleBigPlanet games using a newest method that utilizes Patchwork. I'm going to go into the download link of refresher that is from the GitHub page. Once again, I'm going to put any link that shows up on the video down in the video description. So we're just going to visit refresher right now. And then we need to go into right side into releases. And then we choose the operating system that you're using. And once again, in our case, since we're using Windows, we can either choose the portable version or the setup, which will install refresher for you into your Windows operating system. I'm just going to use the portable version. Either of those will work just fine. And now we will go into download and save this file right here. And now that you have this file downloaded, we can now drag it, drop it into this folder with a right click. Then as we have a 7-zip, we're going to use 7-zip, and then we're going to extract to refresh our Windows x64 portable. And then we're going to click this folder right here. And now we click on refresher.exe. If this window shows up, that means we don't have the .NET installed, which is fine. We can just click this option, download it now. It will redirect us to the download page of the Microsoft.NET that is required for us to install in order to use refresher. We click save, and then we click the downloaded exe file in order to install the .NET. We click yes in the UAC window to accept installing .NET. And now once that is done, we can close this window, and then we go back into the refresher, and then once again launch refresher, and it should automatically open for us right here. If all done correctly, this window shows up right here. Now, in order to patch any LittleBigPlanet game using a refresher, we need to choose the option patch LBP 1, 2, 3 for RPCS3. We're going to go ahead and click that. And in the next window, we have the top text field, which says RPCS3 def_hdd0 folder. And we're going to need to hit browse. And then we're going to need to find the RPCS3 instance folder. So that means the folder where we have RPCS3 set up. And then we need to choose def_hdd0 folder right here. And then we click select folder. As you can see, it has successfully read all the games that we have installed in RPCS3. Now we need to choose a game that you want to patch, and that means whenever you want to play LittleBigPlanet 2, for example, on Beacon, you need to choose LBP2, and also if you want to play Beacon on LBP3 as well, we also will need to patch LittleBigPlanet 3 in a similar way as I'm showing right now. We're going to patch LittleBigPlanet 2 for now, and then so we're going to choose LittleBigPlanet 2, and down here we specify server URL. Since we want to play on Beacon, I'm just going to type in the Beacon URL, so beacon.lbpunion.com, and then join key is the lobby password key that you want to specify, and this key will allow you to join any other person as long as you use the exact same join key, and I will show you later how you can change it. But for now, I'm just going to specify one, for example, like test 1 2 3 4. Obviously you shouldn't be using this kind of simple one. You should probably use more of a complicated join key, but I'm using this one specifically for the purpose of showing the steps on how you can specify the lobby password. And then once you have those two fields filled up, we can go ahead and click the option auto discover. And as you can see, refresh has automatically detected a proper URL for a Beacon custom server. As you can see, it swapped for lighthouse.lbpunion.com/LittleBigPlanet ps3_xml. And now that we have all these text fields filled up properly, we're going to go ahead and click patch. And then, as you can see, we have the dialog saying that it has successfully patched our game. When it comes to asking us whether we want to go into website and register the account, we're going to click no for now, and we'll do the same thing if you want to patch any other LittleBigPlanet game. So for example, LittleBigPlanet 3, same steps, and then we'll most likely need to click complete, because I'm guessing this is where the patch button is. But yeah, there we go. Now we can close out of refresher since we're not going to need to use it anymore. And now the next step is going to be configuring a controller. By default, RPCS3 uses a keyboard to simulate a DualShock 3 controller, and obviously it's much more comfortable to play on a controller. So for this, we're going to go ahead and click pads. As you can see, by default it specifies our keyboard. And when it comes to the rest of compatible controllers, most of the controllers will work straight out of box. If it supports X input, it will work just fine. And if you have a PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 controller or PlayStation 5 controller, which is DualSense, then you can plug those two controllers using a USB or pair them with Bluetooth, and then configure them on RPCS3. RPCS3 will be able to recognize these two controllers also straight out of the box. When it comes to DualShock 3, which is a PlayStation 3 controller, you will need a DualShock 3 handler installed, and then you can visit the RPCS3 wiki for more instructions. But nevertheless, since I'm using a DualSense, which is a PlayStation 5 controller, I can just choose the option DualSense. And if you just scroll down right here, as you can see, if I just move the left stick and right stick, as you can see, it is successfully detecting input. So as you can see, it is recognizing the controller correctly. Now that you've chosen your controller of your choice, we can now go ahead and click save. And now we can follow the next step, which is registering our Beacon account so we can play officially online on Beacon custom server. now I'll be showing you one of the first methods of getting RPCS3 to connect to Beacon on any mainline LittleBigPlanet game. This is going to be the new method, which is going to be manually registering your Beacon website account. So for this, we're obviously going to need to visit the beacon.lbp Union website. And now that we are on this Beacon custom server website, all we need to do is to click this option on the top right screen right here, which is login/register. And then on the login page, you need to go all the way down till you find the option create an account. And now you have to fill all these necessary data. So first up is the username. The username is the one that you've just specified while creating the RPCN account. So in my case is going to be Kubac. And the second is going to be the email address that you wish to assign your Beacon account with. So for this, I'm going to specify my own email address. And in the next two fields, we have to specify the password that we want to use in order to be able to log into the Beacon account. So once again, I'm going to specify one. I also need to confirm that I am above 13 years old. And then I need to confirm that I'm not a robot. And now that we have all these necessary details filled up in the fields, we click register. And now we have the message saying that an email address on your account has been set but hasn't been verified yet. So now we need to verify the email address that we set on our own account, which has sent to the email address that we have specified on the account creation. So now I'm going to check on my mailbox to see if I have received the email. And as you can see, I have received two emails, in fact. One that has confirmed the creation of my Beacon account right here. And then the second one, which is going to be more important for us right now, which is the Project Lighthouse email verification mail right here. And so we're gonna click on that. And then this is the email that shows up. Now we need to click this link to open the mail verification. And as you can see, Beacon website has reported back to us that it has successfully verified our email address. Now we can go back to the Beacon website that we had open just now. I'm going to refresh this website, and now it is asking me to set up a two-factor authentication. For this, you will need to use any of the two-factor authentication applications. Most of them are available for free, specifically for phones such as Android or iOS devices. I'm just going to show you the process of adding the 2FA QR code on my Android phone, and I will show you how easy it is to set it up. Okay, so as I stated previously, I'm going to be using my Android phone for this. As you can see, we do have the authenticator on my phone already installed, so I'm going to be using that. This is a Google Authenticator, which is the application that you can use. It's one of the free ones available to download either on Google Play or App Store if you're using iOS. If you don't have one, then I'm just going to show you. It's very easy to get it on Android. All you need to do is to go into the Play Store, and then we'll search it up. We'll type in Google Authenticator. There we have it. And then if you scroll down here, as you can see, there's Google Authenticator, and all you need to do is just press install. Since I already have it installed, it just says the option open. So there's the application right here. Now if you open it, I already have the some of the 2FA codes added. Obviously, for the sake of my privacy and all, I'm going to blur them out. But once you have this application and you have this 2FA code displayed on your screen, all we need to do now is to just grab the authenticator, then select plus. It may ask you for the permissions for the camera, so you obviously need to accept them, but then we're gonna choose the option scan QR code, and then all we need to do is to point the camera at the QR code like so, and there we have it. You may see right here we have the Beacon 2FA code added. So now that you have this Beacon account added to your Google Authenticator, as you can see, it does have this 6 digits that it keeps switching periodically. I believe it's like every 30 seconds. And now that we have successfully added this QR code into a Google Authenticator, I'm just going to insert the two-factor authenticator code that I have generated in my Google Authenticator. And then we get into this screen right here, which is very important. We're getting backup codes. These backup codes are very important. You must save somewhere securely, because these are your backup option. Whenever, for whatever reason, for example, you may be locked out of the phone and you don't have access to something like Google Authenticator, then these backup codes are there as a safety measure for you to retrieve the access to the account. And once again, that is in case if you lose the access to the two-factor authentication app. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to create a text file. I'm just going to open up a notepad. Then I'm going to copy all these codes and then paste them in Notepad. And I'm going to save this somewhere that I can easily get access to. I obviously recommend you to save this file somewhere in the completely on another device, so it won't be, for example, your PC or your phone, but somewhere else entirely, so you can always get back to the device and retrieve those backup codes just in case. For now, I'm going to, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to save it here under the name of beacon dash backup dash codes right here. So I'm just gonna save, and there we have it. We have those backup codes saved. Now that we have confirmed that we have saved backup code safely, we can click this option, I have saved these codes. And there we have it. Now we have access to a brand new account that we have just created. Now that we have an access to the beacon account that we just created, the one thing that is going to be very important for us right now in order to be able to connect to beacon custom server using RPCS3 is the authentication tab right here. As you can see, this shows the information about the linked accounts that we have for both PSN, which is PlayStation Network, or RPCN, which is the RPCS3 equivalent of RPCN. As you can see, obviously we don't have any linked accounts right now because we have just created this beacon account, but we are going to do just that. We're going to link our RPCN account. For this, we're going to go back to RPCS3 and then open up any LittleBigPlanet game that you patched that would allow us to connect to the custom server. In this case, I'm going to use LittleBigPlanet 2. Now, I'm going to give you the heads up that this is the game that we have just installed in RPCS3 and we have no profile data. So this, as you can see here, throws us right into the introduction level. So obviously the first thing we need to do is to beat this introduction level. We're now in port. I'm just going to go back to the beacon website, because upon starting the game, if you have configured the game correctly, that means we have the patchwork correctly initialized and the game config is set up correctly to connect to RPCN, etc., then we should be seeing the authentication attempt from RPCN. So if you just refresh the page, as you can see, we get the information that there's a RPCS3 link request. And if you get this information, that means that your game that you're emulating from RPCS3 has successfully contacted the beacon custom server in order to request connection to this server. So if you see this, all you need to do now is to click approve. And now that we have this RPCN account linked, we can now go back to the game. Now, as you can see here, if I go into the pod, and given that we have just launched the game for the very first time and we don't have our profile imported into RPCS3, as you can see, like, we've just gone out of the introduction level, so we still have all the online functionalities grayed out for us, and that's because we still need to beat the first chapter of LittleBigPlanet 2. So I'm going to do just that, and you need to make sure that you beat the first chapter of the campaign. This applies to both LittleBigPlanet 1 and LittleBigPlanet 2. In the case of LittleBigPlanet 1, you need to play and complete the first chapter, which is the gardens, and likewise with LittleBigPlanet 2, it is very similar. You just have to beat the very first chapter, which is Da Vinci's hideout. It approximately takes half an hour to complete all these levels. And now that we have beat the first chapter of LittleBigPlanet 2's story, we can now back out of the pod. Now, as you can see, those buttons that we previously had grayed out, now they are crossed out, and that means we still aren't connected to the server. But now that we have, and now since we have the RPCN account authenticated into beacon custom server, now we can go back to the game and then attempt to reconnect to the server, either by choosing the community button or recent activity button. So I'm just going to go with the community button, and then this is going to ask us to accept the URL, so we can go ahead and click yes. We see the URL that shows up on our screen. We press the X button to accept the URL, and then we have the announcement saying that we have successfully connected to the LBP Union's custom LittleBigPlanet server. We press the X button once more to accept the announcement, and there we have it. We have now access to community, and we can now browse levels, and we can browse all the other online functionalities of the pod. Now, in a rare occasion, after you manage to connect to the servers, you may stumble upon this weird looking screen in LittleBigPlanet 2 or 3 right here. In order to fix that, we could either restart the emulator, and that will mean the game will reinitialize connection to the server, and this will fix this issue. Or, in the case of LittleBigPlanet 2, we can just go to settings, go to profile, and then choose the option reset pod decoration. This will force the game to reload the pod level. So as you can see, we are back to normal, and we can now access the pod computer once more. So now I'm going to be showing the method of connecting to Beacon on RPCS3 in case if you already have connected to Beacon previously using the PlayStation Network account that matches the exact same username as your RPCN username. So this is, as I mentioned previously, if you remember previously, the step of setting up your RPCN account. If you want to merge the PlayStation Network account with the RPCN account, you will need to make sure that these usernames match both on RPCN and PlayStation Network. And once you ensure that that is the case, I'm now going to show you what you need to do if you have connected PS3 successfully using the old method directly onto PlayStation 3. I'm going to now show you how you can get access to the same Beacon account but on RPCS3. So first thing you need to do is that if you haven't set up your Beacon website account and you just have access to the custom server on PlayStation 3, what you need to do is once that you're connected on Beacon on PlayStation 3, go to the Popit, use the text chat option, and then you need to type the set email command. So we need to type in /set email and then provide the email address that you have access to. So I'm just going to set up my own email for this. Okay, once you're done with typing the email, when you press start, make sure that, as you can see, it adds additional white space. So you want to make sure that you press square once to clear off that white space, and then you press start to send a message. And as you can see, the message has been sent in LBP. So now once you've done that, I'm going to go into PC now to check if we have received a Beacon account creation setup mail at the email address that we specified. So now that we are on our PC, I'm just going to visit my mailbox that uses the email address that we specified in game by using /set email command. As you can see, we have received a mail from Beacon. So let me just access these mails right here. And there we have it in the top of the list of the inbound mails. I got the Beacon LBP Union mail right here, project Lighthouse email verification. And then we see that we have the account verification link right here. Select this entire link, then press right click, and then we choose the option go to. So now that we've inserted our link, we are going to see this screen right here, the password reset. This shows up every time you sign up for the Beacon website for the very first time, as well whenever you're using the /set email command. So we want to make sure that we specify a password. So I'm just going to specify one right now. And then after we specify the password, it has now prompted us to set up a 2FA or two-factor authentication. So in this case, what you will need is to either have an Android phone or iOS phone, and then any of the 2FA application. And I'm going to show you the one that I personally use. I'm just going to use my Android phone to showcase how easily you can get the application so you can set up a 2FA for your Beacon account. Okay, so as I stated previously, I'm going to be using my Android phone for this. As you can see, we do have the authenticator on my phone already installed, so I'm going to be using that. This is a Google Authenticator, which is the application that you can use. It's one of the free ones available to download either on Google Play or App Store if you're using iOS. If you don't have one, then I'm just going to show you. It's very easy to get it on Android. All you need to do is to go into the Play Store, and then we'll search it up. We'll type in Google Authenticator. There we have it. And then if you scroll down here, as you can see, there's Google Authenticator, and all you need to do is just press install. Since I already have it installed, it just says the option open. So there's the application right here. Now if you open it, you already have the some of the 2FA codes added. Obviously, for the sake of my privacy and all, I'm going to blur them out. But once you have this application and you have this 2FA code displayed on your screen, all we need to do now is to just grab the authenticator, then select plus. It may ask you for the permissions for the camera, so you obviously need to accept them, but then we're gonna choose the option scan QR code, and then all we need to do is to point the camera at the QR code like so, and there we have it. You may see right here we have the Beacon 2FA code added. So now that you have this Beacon account added to your Google Authenticator, as you can see, it does have this 6 digits that it keeps switching periodically. I believe it's like every 30 seconds. So let me just wait till it refreshes. There we go. I'm just going to insert this new code right here, and there we have it. Now this is a very important screen that I'm going to in PCB coding for a second. And now I'm back to the recording directly on my PC screen right here. This is very important. These are the security backup codes in case for whatever reason you lose the access to your two-factor authentication application, in which case these backup codes will help you restore access to your account. And this is very important. You must save them somewhere where you can access later. So in case if you, once again, if you lose access to your 2FA device for whatever reason, you have these backup codes just in case. So I'm just gonna copy all these backup codes to open up a new notepad for the sake of this tutorial. Copy and paste these backup codes. I'm going to save for the purpose of this tutorial. I'm going to save it to downloads, but I highly suggest saving it somewhere securely. Let me save this file right here, and there we have it. I have all these backup codes saved on my PC. And now that we've made sure that these backup codes are stored somewhere safely in any of the devices, we can now check this option. I have saved these codes. So we click this option. And there we have it. We have access to our Beacon account right here. Now that you have access to the Beacon website account, the one crucial tab is going to be very useful for us in order to be able to play on RPCS3 right now, which is the authentication tab. If you go over there, you will see now, right now, that we have a PlayStation Network account linked. That is the very PlayStation Network account that we use in order to connect to Beacon initially, which is from the PlayStation 3. And then we have down here RPCN account, which is currently unlinked. We're going to do just that. We're going to link our RPCN account. In order to do that, we will go back to RPCS3 and then launch any of the LittleBigPlanet games that we have currently patched that will allow us to play on Beacon. So I'm just going to launch LittleBigPlanet 2 right now, and I'm going to also remind you that this is the game that has been freshly added, so that means it has no profile data. That means we're going to go straight into the introduction. As you can see, the game immediately gave us a 403 error, but this is fine, we can close it. But yeah, as you can see, we are in the introduction, so we'll need to obviously beat this first in order to get to powder. So now that we are on our port, we can now go back to the Beacon website, and then we're going to refresh the page. As you can see, it has successfully detected one pending authentication coming from the RPCS3, and if all done correctly, this will pop up to you as well. And if that happens, all you need to do is just to press this button that says approve. And there we have it. Now we have the RPCN account linked. As you can see, we have entered the pod computer and we still have online buttons grayed out. And that just means we need to continue over the story mode. And you need to make sure that you beat the first chapter of the campaign. This applies to both LittleBigPlanet 1 and LittleBigPlanet 2. In the case of LittleBigPlanet 1, you need to play and complete the first chapter, which is the gardens. And likewise with LittleBigPlanet 2, it is very similar. You just have to beat the very first chapter, which is Da Vinci's hideout. It approximately takes half an hour to complete all these levels. And now that you have all the main levels on Da Vinci's hideout beaten on LBP2 story mode, we can now back out of the story. As you can see, instead of the buttons being grayed out, now we have them crossed out. So given that we've already approved the authorization of our RPCN account, all we really need to do now is to press X on the crossed out community button or the recent activity button and then select yes. And as you can see, we're getting the announcement that we have successfully connected to Beacon. So if you press OK, as you can see, we have now access to community and all the features of LittleBigPlanet 2 Online. Now, in a rare occasion, after you manage to connect to the servers, you may stumble upon this weird looking screen in LittleBigPlanet 2 or 3 right here. In order to fix that, we could either restart the emulator, and that will mean the game will reinitialize connection to the server, and this will fix this issue. Or, in the case of LittleBigPlanet 2, we can just go to settings, go to profile, and then choose the option reset pod decoration. This will force the game to reload the pod level. So as you can see, we are back to normal and we can now access the pod computer once more. And now I'm going to be showing you how you can play online multiplayer by utilizing the new lobby password system. I have hooked up my Steam Deck and is currently also connected to Beacon custom server using the exact same lobby password. And I'm going to reiterate, this is very important that whoever you want to join, they also have to have the matching lobby password that either you or someone else specify. And now that I have the Steam Deck connected using a different RPCN account into Beacon, and I have made sure that my Steam Deck is using the exact same lobby password, I can attempt to join my second account. First, you'll obviously need to add whoever you want to join to the friends list. So for this, you will need to go into RPCS3 window, then go into configuration, then RPCN, then friends. And here we have the friends list, as you can see right here. And in order to add friends, you can either add them directly here if you just happen to play with them using the lobby friends of another friend, or you can just add them manually by pressing this button right here, add friend. I'm going to specify my username of one of my old RPCN accounts. We press OK. We get a message that the friend was successfully added. Now we need to wait that the other person will accept my friend request. Well, in this case, it's going to be me, obviously. So I'm just gonna quickly confirm the friend request over the Steam Deck. I'm going to accept request like so. And as you see, as soon as I accepted the friend request at Steam Deck, my secondary account has now popped up in the friends list. Now we can exit out of the friends list and then the RPCN window, and then we can go back to the game. And now if you go to the friends list, they may not pop up immediately. So you may have to restart the game first in order for the friend to show up in the friends list. Okay, so now that I have restarted the game, now if I just go to the pod, as you can see, we have my secondary account right here. So as long as we both have the exact same lobby password, if I just join, I should be able to join him successfully. As you can see, I accepted the join request from RPCS3 on my PC. And as you can see, I have successfully joined the other person, like so. Now, if you want to change the lobby password, so like say you have like a one password and your friends use a different one, so you want to just change it to the one they use so you can join these friends, you can do that with two possible methods. One of them is by reusing refreshers. I'm just going to close the game real quick just to show you guys first of these methods. So the first method is by relaunching refresher, then once again going into the option patch LBP 1, 2, and 3 for RPCS3, and then as you can see, it has saved all the previous settings that we used previously. So we're going to go back into LittleBigPlanet 2 as a game, and then right here we have the join key. If you say, for example, one of your friends use a different key, like for example, I don't know, test 5, 6, 7, 8 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, then you can change that join key right here. If you want to just update this patched game to include this updated join key, all you need to do is to revert the patch, then use the option auto discover to resolve this URL again, and then patch. And this should update the join key to the correct one. There's also another method where you can change the lobby password, which is a manual method that you can use whenever you're on RPCS3. For this, you need to open the folder where you have RPCS3 set up. So in my case, this is the RPCS3 folder right here. Then you need to go into dev_hd0. Then you need to go into plugins. And in here, you have the folder Patchwork. You need to open this folder right here. And then you have these two files right here. One of them is for URL, so if you open this file, as you can see, this one specifies the URL of the custom server. If you want to switch the custom server, you want to say connect to a different one, then you can just swap this URL to the one of your choice, then just save the file, and it should update the URL that you want to attempt to connect to. But the one other text file that is in our interest is the patchwork_lobby_password. Now, if you right click this file and choose edit, as you can see, we have this password that we have just changed using the refreshers. As you can see, it did work just fine. So you can also use refresher as I showed you previously. But if for whatever reason you want to edit it manually, you can do so by editing this file right here. Say, for example, you want to go back to test 1, 2, 3, 4, you can do so. Ctrl S to save the file, and you're back to using the previous lobby password. Now, this is going to be it for today's video tutorial. I hope you found this video tutorial informative. If you have any questions regarding the configuration of RPCS3, the games within RPCS3, or just connecting to the custom server in general, be sure to leave a comment under this video. We will try to answer all of these questions. And if you have any issues with patching the game on RPCS3, be sure to visit our Discord server that is also linked in the video description. Make sure to go into the beacon_support channel and and create a poster explaining the issue, and it will try to help you to the best of the possibilities. But ending on a note, like if you enjoyed this tutorial, more tutorials will hopefully appear soon within the coming months. But until then, this is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching once more, and I will see you all in the next video. This was Kubac from LBP Union, signing out. Have a good one.